Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sotek's Knowledge Series. We are in our webinar number 18th in our knowledge series, and in today's session, we have our one of the very known and expert panelists who have been there with us in the earlier sessions also. So we have them back with us today. And to we have a very interesting conversation which is being planned for the day today, and this is a conversation on what is the unbelievably the easy way to retain new old customers and gain new customers. And this is a conversation which was, I think, in today's scenario, is kind of being a very prominent, or I would say not prominent, but it is very, knowing at the current status of business and the things which are happening around, especially the unpredictability which is there, the disruption which is happening in the businesses, and the kind of the models that we are transiting, the digitization is becoming a new normal, and everybody is kind of getting into this new rave altogether. So there's a lot of changes which we are seeing in this current environment, which is happening across in different segments of the industry. And I would say we have the three panelists back with us. So Linda, thank you once again for joining us from Dubai. We have Gagan Kapoor, who is joining us from Gurgaon, and we have Madhu, who is taking a time, and she's joining us from Canada. And I believe, Madhu, it's a very, very early time for you to start and join us at this webinar. So thank you so much to all the three panelists. Thank you so much for taking out time and coming to Sotek sessions once again and sharing your thoughts. We'll just quickly kickstart in today's session by taking up the agendas. So Linda, what according to you is the unbelievably the easy way to retain old and gain new customers?
Thank you very much, Sonit, first of all, for having us here today. And I say that on behalf of the whole team. It's always a pleasure to be in the same room. So before we throw ourselves into the specific answer to your question, I just would like to quickly touch base on how come that we are here today and why we're here today. So in one of our discussions that we had some time back, we realized that there were many challenges, but also synergies across different industries, looking at the post-COVID era phase. One of the constant challenges is that business owners seem to be having challenges in retaining old customers as well as gaining new customers. Business owners also very often find themselves being stagnant and very unsure of how to maneuver in the new, highly uncertain terrain, and also perhaps crack the code to what is next. So this encouraged us to dig deep and extract the best practices from already successful businesses, but also by looking at our own experience and what we have seen as successful and less successful. And by sharing those findings here with you today and our conclusions, we hope that we can be of value and that we can inspire and hopefully plant a few new thoughts and seeds to move forward. So going straight into the presentation, I'd like to warm up with one of the probably most apt quotes for 2020. I think we have all been reminded in more than one way. The only constant in life is change. And that's exactly what we have witnessed. And even more so, our ability, the importance of our ability to adopt ourselves, both personally as well as professionally, to carry our businesses forward. So to get started, we first look at something that I think we often consider as something quite fluffy and theoretical, and maybe not something that really feels like it's me, that I have to do it because I only have a small company, I only have this and that, and my business formula is simple, etc. But we would like to actually talk a little bit about the importance of having a proper vision and mission in place in order to see how it will eventually impact customers. So to break it down and to make it a little more practical, first we would like to define what is vision and mission. Vision and mission is the skeleton to a business, like laying the foundation to a house is while constructing it. From a solid ground, you can build something that will last for years without being distracted and having to repair it and having to review it again and again and again. So it's something that is very fundamental. Both the vision and the mission statement plays an important role in the organization, of course. A vision statement describes the desired future position of the company, whereas the mission statement defines the company's business, its objective, and its approach to reach those objectives. Elements of mission and vision statements are very often combined to provide a statement of the company's purposes, goals, and values. So why is it then that we actually need a vision and mission? It's pretty simple if we choose to look at it in a simple way without complicating it and going into too much of the theory behind it. Vision and mission guides us through all kinds of challenges and seasons. We can use them as a roadmap whenever we are in doubt of what should be the next step, whenever we are confronted with a challenge, but also it will help us to inspire customers with consistency over time, and not least provide very simple guidelines for the team to work together and to know what the company really stands for and would like to be portrayed as. The vision statement also ensures that all the decisions that are made are properly aligned with what the organization hopes to achieve in the future, irrespective of who is actually going to take that decision and at what level that person is. The mission statement provides the organization with a very clear and effective guide for making decisions on a day-to-day basis in everything we do, again, coming back to no matter where we are positioned in the organization structure. So how do we then create a vision and mission? First of all, if you already have one, I would think that it would be a good idea to actually review what you already have and ask yourself, is it still making sense or being adopted to the modern reality and 2020 circumstances? I reviewed our vision and mission in May when I realized that the way we used to work at Continue was no longer at all relevant. And it has helped me to actually holding the team together. So that's a piece of advice. If you don't have a vision and mission statement yet, don't worry, it's not that complicated to do. What you need to do is to think long term. You would like to project where you would like to see yourself 5 to 10 years down the line. Dream big and stay focused on success, of course. That's what we would like to achieve in the end. Use the present tense. So whenever you speak and communicate about your vision and mission, you would like people to feel that it's current. Use clear, concise language, infuse it with passion, and make it inspirational so that others will follow through, and align it with your business values and goals. And a very good example of a simple vision statement that I think we can all relate to is LinkedIn's vision statement. It says, create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. And how well didn't they nail it? I think we can all see that, yes, actually, it's exactly what they are doing, and they are doing it very well long-term over time. Similarly, for a mission, keep it to the point, sum it up in a few sentences. And I would say here, the most important aspect of the mission statement is to run it via your team and take their feedback on how it sounds to them. You will be surprised as an owner or a leader to find out how much value your team can give you in terms of insights, and how you together can actually form the final mission statement, and with that also making them responsible and accountable for it. So make it a brain tattoo, but review it ever so often. We are going through disruptive times for sure. So now that I mentioned a few facts about vision and mission, why we actually need a vision and mission, and how we can, with relatively simple means, how we can create it. We would love to hear from you, Madhu, on how to apply them in practical business life and how it eventually will impact customers. So thank you, and over to you, Madhu.
Thank you, Linda. It was great share on the what and why the importance of vision and mission, it is very important that now that we have the vision and mission in place, that we should leverage it to leverage this vision and mission into our systems. Your vision will never become a reality if unless you get others to act on it. And that means you are going to get your whole team involved in it. Your company most likely lists a mission statement, but do you but do you function and live by it as a team? Your efforts to improve your organization's success, productivity, and performance without focusing on the mission will not give the required results. In order for mission and vision to work, we need to have it there, always on top of every strategy goals that we make. Mission and vision are our guiding light for every action that the company takes. So it is very important for the management's role. It is one of the most, I would say, most important management role for this to seep in to every level and inspire the team to find the purpose and direction to take important decisions. They would need to spend time with people in every department at every level to communicate what the vision means for the company and for their specific role. The same passion they have to drive within their team. When you promote your vision to your employees, it results in a higher level of employee engagement, and then there is a positive work culture, keeping them invested in the good work your company does. And when they go about their day-to-day tasks, you need like your employees to be very much aligned with your company's vision and mission. If it's not connected with them, if they're disconnected, it is going to lead to lack of direction, and you will have listless employees disengaged from their work. They will not be so much involved. So you remember, high performance organizations are linked to being mission driven companies. The more your employees are mission driven, the more your company is going to be high performance organizations. All discussions by the leaderships must have mission and vision as their backbone. Mission and vision impacts everything that is being done. That is the driving force, actually. Mission and vision is the foundation of your company. Therefore, every piece of content you create should be rooted in your mission statement. From the tone of the voice to the call to action, this trickle-down effect of a mission statement confirms its value to any company. Because if you don't show it as the management, as the owner, then if that passion doesn't show, it does not translate. Every piece of content you dream should fly high with your vision statement. Promote the company's vision by always making sure that it is visible all over. Actions which you make based on your vision are very powerful. Use your mission and vision to have an organized, aligned business strategy, making it easier for you to accomplish what's best for the overall business, while aiming to also meet the individual needs around. You can use your mission and vision to streamline all your decisions that you make. You will realize how simple it becomes when you are following your mission and vision. Most businesses, especially the ones that we are in, speed is the key. For projects to move forward without bottlenecking, leadership needs to feel empowered and to make hundreds of decisions, both big and small, with confidence. Your mission statement makes it easier for those decisions to be made, as it provides them with a direction to execute. You need a direction, your mission will guide you, your vision will guide you. It will help you to make up your goals for whatever you want to do. You have to make your strategies using the mission. To achieve the mission, the strategies which you're making are by using the mission, are targeting your vision, and you make your goals which will accomplish your strategies. Then you have to keep reinforcing the company vision by tying it to your team and individual goal, because this approach helps you to clarify and with the implementation of your goals. While it also provides you the flexibility, to push your team and to achieve more. For example, you have different departments in your company, like the R&D, the quality, the production team, the merchandising team. So once you give them their goals, and then you can, all for qualities, production, for R&D, like you, based on your vision and mission, whatever goals you set for them, if you are doing it in an organized manner, it is definitely going to reflect in their working. Now, if your vision is different, your staff, your team's is vision, it will never work out. So this helps you to make sure that all your departments are working within your mission and vision, and they're accomplishing what you have set out to. Now, regardless of what your company vision is, make sure it is authentic and it is tangible. Let it be your guiding light. It is the guiding light, because that is where the catch is. Once you have a base and you work towards it, you definitely would achieve it. As you work to grow your company, you will need to ask, is what we are doing taking us closer to our vision? This will make you help avoid decisions that will keep you off the track. If you don't have a vision at the background to follow, it's like somebody is blind. You are lost in a jungle, you have a blindfold on your eyes, you're going bashing into trees, you're going round and round, but you're never moving forward, either backward or going round and round. So the vision serves as a focal point for the future. And so sticking to it is very, very important, as that would help you work through the pros and cons of opportunities that present themselves, so that they can determine the best course of action. Your vision should challenge your team members to make an impact. This helps them being appreciated and being contributing participants for the meaningful growth of your company. To remain competitive, retain top talent, build a strong team, it's important that you ensure that your mission and vision seeps in from the top to the lowest level. Your mission and vision, that must become the pivotal part, the DNA of your company. And it should reflect in every action that you take. Now, this is what is going to bring value to your company. And once you see that value coming in, you will also see that your customers would be appreciating your mission, because they find that you are strictly following the norms of what the business is supposed to be. And then, they will be more aligning with you. Customers, they expect that they are made to be felt important. So when they see that they are at the center of everything a company does, because when you make a mission and vision, besides what your passion, but that the direction is towards the customer. So the customer feels good. So this is one of the top emotional needs, that your mission statement is instantly able to address this need. This in turn impresses new customers and help retain old customers. So I think that is where the mission and vision is, how you leverage it, how you get your new and impress new customers about it.
Taking where Madhu left, I see that when you actually set up a vision and mission properly, it is very important for all of us. It is very, very important for all of us to actually see that there is one bigger challenge which really happens with all of us, and that is actually most of us are working on price all the time. Our decisions are made across the price, and whole of the thought process is around the price. What price I'm going to be charging? My buyer is actually asking me to reduce the price, and these are some of the common challenges. But you know what? Whenever we talk about the issue with the price, we are actually not thinking about a very important missing link, because of which the price actually can be secondary. And that missing link, my dear friends, is actually if you are able to create value for the people, if you are able to create the right kind of value for your customer, if they see the right value, you will see the price will come secondary. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about a bit more that how value creation really helps you get your desired price. And I would like to talk about few steps here. I would like to talk about in 4 steps, how do you really create good value and it can help you get your desired price. First of all, the first step is actually understand what drives value for your customers. For that, you will have to talk to them. You will have to survey them. You will have to watch their actions and reactions. capture the data to understand what is important to your customers and what opportunities you have to help them. Look at their pain points, look at their worry points. What do they hear? What do they fear from all the people? Do they fear about something which you think you can have a solution? What keeps them awake at night? All of these points, if you were to understand, and then step number two is that that particular fear or those particular challenges, if you take care, your value proposition is actually to be a solution provider to those complaints, to those fears. It's all about showing the benefit to the customer and not always talking about the features. As business owners, as manufacturers, as suppliers, every time we're talking about our product feature, this is what my product does, this is what my product does, right? But it's actually not about us. It is actually about our customers. And our customers always get to see what a very common term it is WIIFM. What is in it for me, right? What do I get? You are talking about your features, you're talking about your company, you're talking about this and that. That's great. But what is my benefit? And if you as a supplier or a manufacturer is able to show that benefit to them, you've done your job. I would like to give a very, very interesting example. In 2001, when Apple launched his iPod, and every other player in the market was actually talking about the amount of space they had in their in their gadget. You know, somebody was talking about 2 GB space, somebody was talking about the 5 GB space. But you know what Apple said? 1,000 songs in your pocket. They just spoke about what a person actually get. I, as a customer, get 1,000 songs in my pocket. I'm not concerned about how many GB space you're giving it to me. And all you know is rest is history. Why? iPod is one of the most successful gadgets which became at that time, and rest others I don't even probably know. You probably don't even know other people's name, while big giants were there in that industry at that time. This is what showing the benefits can really do to you, and it has a very big impact. Let's see the step number 3 and talk about the step number 3 is that you need to create a niche which sets you up as a master of that particular segment. What happens is that we end up all targeting or speaking too generic, and this gives us a tag of literally jack of all trades and master of none, right? Buyers these days want to talk to specialists and not to generalists. I'll just give you an example. If somebody you know has a heart condition, who would they go to? They would not go to a general surgeon. They would want to go to a heart specialist. As simple as that. If somebody is feeling a challenge, they would want to talk to a specialist. So I would request you, if you want to really show a value to a supplier or to a customer, build a specialty. And you have to be a master or a king of a segment. So at least in that particular segment, even your competitors cannot beat you. And this is what should be your aim. And the day you are able to do that, you will be able to show super value to whatever the prospect you are dealing with, right? And the fourth step is actually focus your energies, your resources in R&D in developing your products which are most valued by your customers. Develop them even further. Get an edge over your competitors. And if you do that, these 4 points can really make you produce a super value. And if you are showing this value to the people, I can guarantee you that the price will never be the first in discussion. It will always come second. Now that we have spoken about the steps and the 4 steps in helping you create that value, let's now talk about some of the challenges you face in the price discussions. And at this point of time, Madhu, I would like to bring you in. You can unmute yourself, and I would like to bring you in and talk about what are some of these challenges which people actually face while having these discussions.
Yeah, thank you, Gagan, and thank you also for being a support when I had some problem. Okay, now that we've seen, once you've created your value, we immediately enhance our products in the eyes of the customer. Now, let me explain it to you with an example. Now, there's a buyer. He's looking for shirts, and there are 2 factories vying for that same order. Both of them have the same infrastructure and audits. but which now, the audits infrastructure are there, they are the value additions, but they are now like standards. So one of the factory is proactive, and they have an extensive R&D who provides a lot of insights of latest international trends, as also up-to-date new material knowledge, having all new materials lined up much before anyone would ask for, also augmented by various international designer inputs. Then the same factory offers new production technology, very much proactive professional Zoom meetings, wherein the team is fully prepared with various options on inputs and are there with lot of ideas, along with a study of they do a pre-study of the customer's market, their product line, their price points, etc., and are not just unprepared going into the Zoom meeting, hi, how are you and what you want, and this is what, just to the point. So besides that, the factory also has very strong communication systems in place, precise information, timeliness, transmitted in a very professional way. All customer emails requests are responded to within the tight timelines with proper detailing. The turnaround on the sampling is amazing, with minute attention to details, the finesse, along with a great positive interaction with various personnel interacting with them. The knowledge of each member is like quite amazing for the buyers. They are so impressed that each member, whoever they are interacting with, is doing it so well and is not falling back every time to get the information. They are there because they are all updated and they all have the right role to play. So the setup seems to be running so efficiently and effortlessly. The interaction leaves him with the confidence that this unit will perform, as is a very committed group. This particular factory's history on timely deliveries and quality is also good. But this being a new customer does not know about that yet. But from whatever interaction he has with the factory, he gets all these details. So he's quite impressed. The other factory, just because he knows that his product is exactly this, almost the same, with the same inputs and everything, he cuts down his profits and offers the similar product at a lower price. The quick factory asks for their asking price is slightly higher, but they come up with a fully transparent costing. The customer goes for the higher price factory. Why? Now, I think we all know that if we were in his place, we would go. The amount of value addition this factory is given is not tangible, but is in practical terms a lot of difference it makes to the buyer. But the other factory is still lost. Why did I lose this order? Without getting into the in-depth that this is where you are putting in more value. Yes, you are giving them a blouse, you are giving them a shirt with the same amount of input, same type of material, you are giving them for X dollars, the other one is giving from X plus 2, but still the customer is going there. Why? Because there was so much of value addition. Like Gagan, himself advised everybody, he showed us that how it adds the value. So that, this is where the dedication of the team, which is soaked in the mission and vision, becomes very obvious, because that is where your vision is. That is what you want your team to perform. And you have made sure that this is obvious. It becomes obvious to the customers. So that is where, as that has become the culture of the organization. So we see that this culture shift is required. This is the culture shift which is required to be gaining the buyer's confidence. Now we know that this is why the customer has deviated and even gone ahead and bought the shirt from an expensive factory, not looking, because made the price redundant. So now we see, now what is the company culture? Why is it so important? So culture is a very important integral part of your company, wherever you are. Now culture is, like you have the tendons and the ligaments in the body that holds us all together. That is, if we didn't have them, even though we have the bones, we have the muscles, we have the heart, we have everything, but our body is not going to perform the way it should. So culture is like that. And culture is also, like when you go to watch an orchestra, you have the best instruments, everybody is playing, you have the best players around. But if they don't have the musical note sheet in front of them and they don't follow it, you will not get the beautiful music you come to listen to. You will just have somebody's playing this, somebody's playing. So that is exactly what the culture is. Culture ensures that there's a balance in the performance. The team is performing together as a, as a unit. The company culture, it also helps that the company reaches its potential, helps the employees to march together and drive the company towards the common goals and values. Corporate culture refers to the beliefs and the behaviors that determines how a company employees and management interact and handle outside business transaction. It is, it shows your unique personality of your company. It differentiates you from everybody else, that these are my core values, these are the ethics, these are the beliefs of an organization. So, a culture, it is there everywhere, every nook and every corner of your company and even in our life. Now, whether I make an effort or I don't make an effort, but there will be culture. You cannot just say that just because I haven't worked on the culture, there's not going to be any culture. It will be culture. Each of the members of your team would be having their own culture, because that's how it is everywhere. Your country has a culture, your home has a culture, your personal space has culture. So because you're not working for it does not mean you don't have a culture. But when the culture is coming up on its own without a direction, then everybody is going to do their own, and it will be affecting your productivity, it will affect your profits. So it's very important that you work hard towards your development of your culture, your collaboration, communications, everything is very important. Even your front office has to be reflecting that. So everywhere, and you have to also your technology, how you're going to increase your or improve upon your technology. If you want your business and the organization to grow, then you should start with your people, push them into your mission and vision and the culture to it. If you start thinking that, no, I know everything, I can do well, I know the best of it, it will never work. You have to work as a team, and this is where the culture of your company comes into place. So what are the main components we have in the culture? There are two main components. One is the values. Values is what we arrive at. These are formulated based on our vision and missions. Like you can have values like I have zero tolerance. I'll always be updated with the latest technology. My goal of the company is to be customer centric. I have to ensure my customer gets whatever they want and a right time. I want to have consultative decisions, not that just authoritarian decisions where I don't involve my team into my decision making. So these can be some of your values. You will have much better values than that. These are just examples. And the second component of your culture are the norms. Norms are like day-to-day living of the values as we aspire to reach these values. So it's very, very important. So most companies, profitable companies, are not just profit-based. They are switching their targets from profit to purpose. You realize that they have increased productivity, efficiency, and quality results. And what does that quality lead to? Profits, of course, customer retention. So corporate culture is the most important value driver in your company. So you must invest in the company culture. You have to dedicate time, resources to instill and reinforce, recognize and promote, and you make sure and award your team members who are implementing the culture in the right way. So your leadership can instill that into your team. Now, like to understand, I can give you a few examples. Like, for example, the airline. You are traveling somewhere, you have a stopover. Let's say Linda's Dubai. And then you find that the airline says, oh my God, the next flight you're going to LA is being canceled or it's postponed or whatever. Now, when that is announced on the flight, there are like 500, 600 or 300 passengers on the flight, and they're all very upset. Oh my God, I had this meeting. Oh, I had to do this. I had to do that. So, but when they get off the plane, that's when they realize, they find that there are 7, 8 airline staff there, and looking after everybody, apologizing for the delay, making sure, because the flight is going to be, say, next day, they don't have a connection that day. So they've ensured that every single passenger has been attended to. Your hotel bookings are already made. Your next flight is booked, and they keep advising you, yes sir, yes ma'am, if this doesn't suit you, I could do another flight booking. So you're angry, you're upset, you miss some meetings, you miss some deadlines, but that anger to a certain extent goes back because of the way you have been handled by the airline staff, by the airline team. And so next time when you have to go or take another flight, you definitely would go with that flight, that airline, because that is, that, okay, when I travel, there'd be some problems, but how they handled it, that's what it is. So, this is what your culture is. And this is what, this is where you will understand how important a culture is. I mean, I have a lot more examples, but there's no point in giving them because there is, but I think this does make you realize that how important the culture is. And there's no use of using all those examples of cultures, but they just show you how important you are, because each company has to have an individual company culture. You cannot be that what culture suits me is going to suit Gagan, is going to do Sonan, is going to suit Linda. Every single company would have to have a separate culture based on their mission, vision, and and that is where you have a different level of culture in your company. So don't just go by, oh, this company had a beautiful culture, this is how they did it, I must also have it. No, but you have to have a unique culture for yourself, and your culture also promotes you as a company, as a brand. So, and also when you are hiring people, make sure that the people you hire are in sync with your culture, but not so much that they cannot talk, they cannot give an independent view about certain decisions that you are taking. So culture will shape and influence almost every aspect of your organization. So it's very important that we do it. And when we are doing that, our business partners, our customers, and even for that matter, anybody who's interacting with us, with our company, they will consider they will know the outcome of the corporate culture. They will know that we have a culture which makes it growing, which is something which is with a culture which is productive, which is value addition, and which is making the show. So I would recommend including a vision culture check as part of your company meetings. If not weekly, then at least monthly, so that you're communicating your systems and your your mission, vision, how you do your company, all that you are displaying into your structure. Now, Linda, I would say that you could, now that we have all of this in place, how do you think it's going to reflect in the organization of our companies?
Thank you, Madhu. I just would like to add to that. When it comes to how you create your company culture, I believe, specifically in India, I'm talking about now with no offense, I believe that it's very important that you try to create a company culture that proves the opposite to the very often common perception by the customer, such as, for instance, train your team to say that it's okay to say no. India is known as being a yes culture. We say yes to everything in the willingness to want to please. I would like to say never ever trade your credibility for instant gratification to please the person right there in front of you. It will bite you later. And another thing is also that it's totally okay to say that you don't have the answer for one specific question and that you need to be allowed time to get back to the customer. And with that, you all of a sudden gained a lot of respect from the customer. So that's one thing that we really need to put and plant into our organizations. Another perception of buyer is that India is not at all time driven, and on the contrary, I would say very often unreliable when it comes to timings and deadlines, which means that, of course, we're missing out on short lead times orders in the fashion industry, like where I'm working. And I know that there is a huge potential for that business right now, because all customers, because of the disruptions, aims to book as late as possible in season to stay safe. So here it's important that we try to form the mindset of the customer that we are reliable in terms of timing. However, ever so often we're using all kinds of excuses. It may be a mix of personal and professional excuses. Even worse is when we tend to blame others for the mistakes that something didn't happen or circumstances, and basically meaning that we probably won't even learn by our own mistakes. So why is it then that we're not time driven? Very often it comes down to the simple basics of lack of planning and lack of ability to do whatever it takes at the right time, and being more prone towards procrastination. But it could also be weak leadership and lack of professional teams. So talking about professional teams and knowing that success is built by the people you surround yourself with, I would like to slide into the next, yes, literally slide into the next part of the conversation, which is on how to build a world-class team can enhance the customer experience. This is an area that has not always been easy for me. I must admit, I have failed, I have fallen, I have tried, I have learned. And it is thanks to this kind of versatile experience that I have had that I now feel a lot more comfortable in how to actually building teams. I have had the privilege to build teams in Europe, in Dubai, as well as in India, where I'm currently handling a team of 60 amazing team members. And what I can see, despite the fact that there are, of course, always cultural differences, but depending on the market where you're building and forming your team, there are a lot of common things that we need to take care of. And to start off, we throw ourselves straight into organizational structure. First of all, yes, okay, so I'm going to touch base on 3 different points. I'm going to include Madhu in the end of it. Organizational structure is one of them, and the importance of leading by examples. And last but not least, the customer interaction part. So if we come to the organizational structure, first and foremost, have one. I have seen a lot of times with the companies that we are working with, and they're amazing companies in their own way, but I have seen that very often there is no structure at all. And if you happen not to have an organization structure, just sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil and start sketching on what your dream organization would look like if you wouldn't be tied to any kind of financial restrictions, etc. And in this exercise also, if you already have a team in place, evaluate the strengths, the weaknesses, and not least ambitions of the team members. If you look at the ambitions of the team members, already there you have a lot of amazing material that can really help you bouncing your business upwards a lot. So when it comes to the organization, always hire professionals, and to manage your business, be detached. Again, coming back to what I have often seen is that very commonly in India, again, no offense, just observing. I have seen a lot of factory owners, how they are gladly pulling in their sons. Very often, very typical formula is that the sons went to the US, they went studying, and then they came back to India, and then after a couple of years of fun time, they are entering the business. And I think here, what is really important is to understand what it does if that person doesn't have the right qualifications to actually be in the company. When you take in your own family member, you may treat that person differently compared to everyone else in the team, which means that you're not only having lack of knowledge in your team, but you may even create an imbalance with the rest of the amazing dream team members that you may have. So be mindful when you decide to hire anyone from your own family or like put them into the business for whatever reason. Always set up clear goals and KPIs and budgets and evaluate frequently. Remember that each and every person in your team is an individual human being with their own dreams, with their own career thoughts, and hopefully also financial dreams, and understand how you can form something amazing together by knowing what those are. Easiest done in frequent evaluations. Very often we miss out on the proper inductions, and it's happening because one person is leaving. We're lucky to find a new person. We plug, I'm using the word plug here because we're not doing it in the right way always. We plug in that person into the system and hand over the accounts and all the customer details and everything, while we forget to actually teach the basics of what the company stands for, what is the vision and mission, etc. And yet we expect the team members to be able to work and understand without us really sharing that with them. It's so important to have regular training sessions and reconnect the vision and mission, where you can literally, by examples, go back to and show to your team that this decision was based on this part of the mission statement. We keep on doing that, and when we do that, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I mean, it's like an aha moment for a lot of team members. And last but not least, always inspire your team to be the best versions of themselves, maybe personal or professionally. How they are personally living their lives is indeed in your interest if you would like them to perform and be an A-class level team. And the way that you can easily do it without too much of effort is that, for instance, when you have your monthly management meeting or your weekly team meeting, don't just go straight into the agenda of hardcore facts and performance, etc., but start off in a nice, soft, light note where you show, for instance, inspirational videos of Sadhguru or Robin Sharma, and then followed by a nice conversation. We've been doing that now at Continuum for the last 5 to 6 years, and it's amazing to see the synergies and how we actually perceive the content that has just been shared, and what kind of person you have behind the professional person when you talk about these aspects of life. Very, very powerful. So how do we do this? As always, and in the simplest form, lead by example and walk the talk. It is foolproof, I would say. It's important to always be ready to fold your sleeves and get into action and be one with your team, to make the team feel that you are feeling their pain and you're sharing it with them. Follow your own rules. You are not above the law just because you happen to be the owner or the leader, the manager at the top. And here I would also like to remind, because I think it's very apt, I would like to remind of the importance of how you speak to your team. Just because somebody's working for you, that doesn't give you the right to raise your voice, thinking that I am now going to be more powerful in my messaging and therefore he will do it. A person that has just been screamed at will probably never ever feel like he's doing something from the bottom of his heart in the long-term best interest of the company. Respect everyone's time, meaning that by doing that, you allow them to be facilitated to meet the expected goals. And similarly, when you have set a meeting with them, you got to be punctual. It's not okay to say that I'm 30 minutes late and you think it's okay because you're the owner. It's not, it's highly unprofessional. The importance of showing respect in general, I just touched base on it. I'd like to go back again to how management and organization structures very often referred to as in Scandinavia, specifically Sweden, where I'm from. We always say that the mindset and motto should be never below you, never above you, always besides you. And it works really well because that's how you literally make everyone to feel like they are in it together, and we will also be successful together. And here I would like to make a side point as well, which is that you don't need to have a ma'am and sir culture in your company to be a successful company in modern India today. It works perfectly all right where everyone is level and address each other by name, just as a thought. And I have seen that when that changed in my company 15 years ago, there was a total different participation from everyone, irrespective of the position in the company. So small thoughts that I have witnessed and I would like to share, and I think they could be helpful. So talking about this, now that we have formed our dream team and we definitely walk the talk as leaders, how will this actually and eventually enhance the customer experience? Again, back to you, Madhu. I know that you have not only built internal teams in your companies, but you have also helped a lot of factories building external professional teams. And you also work with a lot of customers around the globe. So could you please tell us a little bit more about this?
Thank you, Linda, and for that excellent way of explaining how you should have a great team into your organization. And you're right, we all sometimes make mistakes, but we do it well in the end. And I know your team, it's very good. And the way you are driving it is also good. So that's very important when you are doing your organization, that a team leader is who makes or breaks you're the engine, you're the pilot. So that's what makes it go right.
Thank you for that.
So, and like you, we've had a lot of customer interactions, and a lot of times the customers have come out with various types of, comments on a meet or when they are going to a meeting. So, first of all is like be a good listener. Now, what happens when you go basically to the factories is that the factory guy will keep bragging about himself, his setups and everything, but he never waits or never lets the customer speak first and understand him and come to his comments at a later stage. So it's very, very important, because you don't know what the customer is going to come up. And sometimes your bragging just puts him off and the valid points are left behind. And it may also put him off to, do what he's come to do. And then that is where your customer first approach comes in. Then everything, whether it's listening or it's work, you always have to make sure that it's the customer who has to given the priority on what you have to do. We've had a lot of meetings where I have to implicitly tell my buyers, don't get carried away by how he does his work or how he's doing this. And he will brag about him and he may scream. Most of the factories, quite a lot of them, now a lot of them have improved, have, like what you, Linda, rightly pointed out, that they show their superiority, the bossism around when the customer is there. But when a customer is coming from America or from Europe, he doesn't understand that approach. It just puts him off. That I have seen sitting on a sample meeting in the sample room, there's something wrong. Okay, it is wrong. So be the first one to accept the fact that yes, we made a mistake, but the customers, they will never, they will appreciate it. But what the factory instead does, hey, come here, this, hey, that, and then they give a nice screaming over there in front of the customer. That's not what the customers are coming there for. That's not their culture. That's not how they run their setup. That's not how they have a team built into them. They could have, the boss, maybe he's upset that a crucial sample has gone wrong or a crucial mail has not been answered. He could have handled it a bit more subtly and professionally. That is what is very, very important when you are when your team and you are interacting with your team. And also, then you have to teach them to empathize when the customer comes with complaints. I have been taught, I can call him my mentor, but he's the one who's taught me all that is. He always says that once you have a complaint, do not close your eyes to it. You must understand and first give the benefit of doubt to the customer that he is your genuine customer. If there is a complaint, genuine complaint, only then he comes to you. Listen to his complaint, listen to what he is coming up with. If he must be having a genuine problem, they could be in production, you have done some genuine problem, you have given a wrong price, whatever it could be. You have to make sure that you empathize with what your customer is coming with the complaints. In fact, the customer who comes with the complaints, according to me, is the best one, because he's the one who's going to stay with you. He's not the one who's not going to, if he didn't want to work with you, he would not come with your complaint. There'll be just a closed doors. So you should appreciate, empathize with them and work towards doing work, clarifying their problems, their issues. And your communication speed, clarity, and style while dealing with the customers is of utmost importance. Without that, that is the first gateway where how you're communicating. What is your speed of communication? How much is the time? What's the use of just giving out vague answers to your customers rather than not giving clear? You may be once in a while stuck up with some issue. It's better to be transparent with the customer, explain it to them and talk to them and give them your viewpoint about your issue, but the priority has to be always very clear communication and on time. And then you have to make a personal contact, connect with the customers to be able to serve them. Once you have a personal connect, you will understand his requirements, you will understand the way he does his business, and you will also understand what he expects from you, rather than you're telling them, oh, I do this, I do that, I don't do that. So that's a better way. Like the first point is be a good listener. So once you do a big good listener, you have developed that personal connect, and he will then appreciate you and you will appreciate him, and the business will grow. That is how it is going to be in the long run. Now that we have a vision, mission, value creation, organization structure, so well defined by Linda, in place, we still cannot be where we want to be. We need this to be visible to our customers, because without having, you've done so much of hard work, but without it coming in front of to your audience, to your buyers, how are you going to achieve your targets, so your targets are your customers. So I do find that role of branding and marketing in acquiring new customers is the most ignored segment in the business. The manufacturers feel, oh, I'll make the right product. Okay, I put my systems in place. That's about it. No, you have to ensure that you are also, firstly, you are a brand in itself. Yes, you are not Nike, Reebok, or whatever, or the Gucci's of the world, but you are a brand, because you have to promote that you are you have a brand. That value is because of what value creation you created. And to showcase all that, you have to make sure that you are marketing it also very well. So if you feel, no, my product will speak for myself, those days are gone. Those days are no more there. You got to market your services, you have to market your whatever you're doing. You got to inform your market, because if you are not informing your market, who's going to buy it? Your customer has to know what you're doing, what your strength, what is the product you're selling, what are the strengths of your products, and what type of service it is, what value addition you're providing. So that informs, and then marketing engages. So you have to, once you have informed, then you start engaging with your customer, you get connected with your customer. You have to make sure that you are having regular meetings with your customers. There are so many ways in which you can be engaging your customer. You can have, after your sales, you can have follow-up mails. You can keep advising them about new innovations, new products that you are developing. And then you could also be connected via the social media, which is now everybody is using it. That will keep them updated to what you are doing, and it also you are in connection with him. And once you are in communication and with him, he will always be engaged with you. Then when you are doing the marketing in the right way, it is going to build up your reputation. Because you will be showing your strengths off and on. You will be showing your strengths, you'll be showing your workmanship, you'll be showing your trust values. So and because you're there, always over there, so your credibility, your reputation gets built up into whatever you are doing, and the customer say, oh, this is the guy, he was doing this. So he will always remember you. He knows that this is somebody regular, is not a fly-by-night operator, and that builds your reputation. Lots of your action on the marketing field is what is going to build your reputation. And because you have you're doing all this for what? Selling. So when you are putting up all these things, you're informing, you're engaging, your reputation is also built. Then you will come up with your selling things, that what you are selling, the product, the servicing, and everything. All these 4 points together. This is where the marketing helps you to grow your business. And this is where it is going to be very, very important. That's why I feel it's very important that you work on these areas and get it. Now, we got to look at different areas when you have formulating your marketing strategy, so that what are reflecting in your business. Now, for this, I think better than me, Gagan, to go through this.
All right. Thank you so much, Madhu, for such a wonderful
Yeah, because you're the right one. I
Let's
cannot do that.
go forward and talk about where Madhu left. And she said, what are the three areas to look at in your marketing strategy? Let me first tell you that the three things what you need to look at, what every person who is marketing or doing business has to look at, is actually the first one is actually prospects. Who are your prospects? The second one is the leads, and the third one is the customers. And I know a lot of us, unfortunately, think that all of these three things are same. A lot of times our communication, we often make a single communication for all of them, while the fact is each one of them has to be handled separately. Now let's first see what is the difference between a prospect and a lead. Okay, prospects are the people who you expect or think will be interested in your product or service. You go to an exhibition, you think the people I want will come there. That's a prospect. You market on social media, thinking some interested people will respond. That's a prospect. The people you drive to your website, right? Who you think will click and search for more information, they are the prospects. You buy data from an organization thinking they are your potential customers, they are your prospects. But what is lead then? And most of us invariably confuse the prospect and the lead. It's only when one of these prospects shows interest, responds back, yes, I'm interested, I want to talk about it, this looks interesting, that is when a prospect converts it into lead, right? And this is the real difference. And this lead will eventually lead into your business. And that is why it is called a lead. From a prospect, it becomes a lead. And that lead, if you nurture them well, should actually take you to become that lead to become a customer. And this is the real difference. So let's now talk about some of the things which we need to look at. How do we look at? Let's look at the first thing. What is the prospect? Let's see how do we manage the prospects. First of all, we need to segment and identify your prospects as per your products and services. Yes, I first told you to segment your communication basis the prospects and the leads and the customers. Then you need to segment your prospects even further, and that is the kind of detailing you need in marketing. Are they bulk buyers or boutique buyers? What kind of prospect are you looking at, right? Which product do they have demand for? Are they more about the quantity or the bulk supply, bulk buying, or they actually talk about the quality? Your message should actually be specialized and targeted to that kind of segment. And that is the important point about communication. People want to hear what their need is. It's not about what you're selling. It again comes to that. So you need to see, if you make them hear what they need to hear, someone will say, I am interested. And that is what you want them to do. That is how a prospect will convert into a lead. And what you need to do, while you have put in a great message, how do you actually communicate to these people? What are the various ways? So we know that we need to choose our channels of communication really, really well, right? Like Madhu mentioned sometime back in marketing, you need to look at social media. It's becoming such a big point these days to actively look for your prospects and convert them into a lead. I'm not really talking about converting them to a customer straight away, because they do not convert into customers straight away, most of them, right? You will go to an exhibition, many of them come to your stall and say, yes, this looks interesting. What is the price? Can you give me a quote of that? These are the people who become leads. Websites, you advertise in certain magazines. These are all the places, these are all the channels of communication which you should actively choose. But you have to be very, very clear. Social media, for example, is an ocean. Whom are you going to target? Which location are you going to target? Which country are you going to target? Which demographic profile are you going to target? All depends on the kind of segmentation you have done with regards to your prospects. So you need to look at prospects and altogether different segment and a process when it comes to communication. That's number one. Let's talk about when it comes to leads. Now that some of these prospects have actually said, I am interested. Now, what do you do with them? Now there is different set of communication is required when it comes to the leads. When your message resonates with the prospects, they show interest, and they've said they've now become a lead. And it's only when you have uncovered the pain point and showed that you are the solution provider, right, and the best fit of it, then you will be able to showcase very clearly the value proposition we initially spoke about. And that is where the whole difference come in. And that is the only reason why they will talk about that I am interested. Show them the value proposition, address their pain points, and you will notice many of them will actually come up to you and say, yes, how do I work with you, right? And that is what we need. Now we also want that our leads should grow more confidence in us. Let me tell you that 50% of the leads who come to us are not ready to buy from us instantly, right? And we need to see how do we actually plan it, right? What all needs to be done to build that confidence in that lead so that they can actually buy from you. They convert to your customers. So what are the things required? You have to do regular follow-ups, which shows your seriousness in doing business. And that talks about professionalism. You need to showcase your ethical work practices. You need to talk about the certifications for great project management. We need to talk about the value proposition. We need to talk about the culture and the vision. And when all of these things, you talk to them, then my question to you is, why will not they buy from you? But there are still reasons why they will not buy from you. And why? My question actually says, why will they eventually buy it from you? Let me first tell you, why will they first not buy from you? First of all, they may tell you there is no need. I do not require your product yet, right? What I intend to say is that your communication to that lead needs to create that need in the mind of that particular lead. Number one. Some of them say, I do not have the budget. To this, if you really show the value, there is always a budget. It's just that you haven't shown the real value to that person as yet. And that is why he or she is not confident in buying from you yet, right? Some of them actually say that they are not in a hurry to buy. Have you created a sense of urgency for them to buy? It's again the kind of communication you would want to do. And a lot of times, they would also say that we are evaluating a lot of other people as well, which practically means that they do not trust you yet. So how will you build that trust? And it again comes to my second question, that it's all about growing that kind of that kind of a confidence that we need to see. How will that trust is going to come in us, right? And all of this, what we're talking about, there's one major factor when it comes to trusting. And that is, which again, a lot of us ignore, is the kind of brand presence which you need to have. Branding has a very big role to play. It is actually an anchor with the help of which customers know you. By interacting with your brand, they eventually build confidence. And it is this confidence we are talking about. Customers actually start preferring your brand over the others once they interact with your brand more and more often. It helps you, your brand building helps you distinguish from your competition. And let me tell you, Linda spoke about it, Madhu spoke about it. It increases employees' pride and satisfaction, and that helps you then give a delightful experience to your customers. Now that we know the importance of managing prospects and the leads, and also the importance of building a brand, let's see when these convert into our customers and how to manage them. Because if you do the things the right way, the leads will convert into the customers. They will eventually buy from you. And how do you really manage that situation once the customers are with you? Let's now see, how do you really work on a particular customer to talk about how to increase the customer's lifetime value. Now, this is a question which may actually tell a lot of you that what is that customer lifetime value? I already have a customer. Yes, there are some customers I work with over a number of years, 20 years, some of them 5 years, but some of the customers leave just like that, right? So my question to you is, what is the customer lifetime value? All what I'm saying is a customer lifetime value, which I'm referring to as a CLV, is actually a key measure which should be tracked as a customer experience program. You always need to keep tracking that. What you need to see is how long they stay once they start working with you, or how soon they drop once you acquired them. Did they do just one part of one business and they went? or they were sticking longer, or some of them have been working with you for years. That's what you need to constantly keep seeing. It is actually a measure of how valuable is the customer to your company for a long time as against the first purchase. That is the first thing what you need to look at when it comes to the customer lifetime value. Just to give you a simple example, if I acquire a customer today, and I know if I work with them very, very nicely, they are going to give me 1 crore of business over the next 5 years, let's say. That's my segmentation or my definition of a customer, which means I'm taking an arbitrary profit of 25%, which means I'm going to earn a profit of 25 lakhs from every customer who sticks by me, because they're going to be staying with me for 5 years. That's a general calculation I have done. Now, what we need to look at is, first of all, are these your average set of customers? That's what you need to figure out. And you need to figure out how long these customers stay with me. Take a kind of an average and do this kind of a calculation. Because once you do this kind of a calculation, what you need to see is let's see what happens by calculating your customer lifetime value and what to do with it, right? First of all, it gives you the clarity in customer dealings and acquisitions, right? Now you know that if I have to spend some money to acquire that customer, I might as well do that. So it gives me a regular flow of business. You already know that every time I spend some money on a particular marketing effort, it gives me a customer which stays with me for 5 years, will give me 25 lakh of profit over the next 5 years. So what stops you from spending 50,000 rupees today if it can help you gain a customer? What stops you from spending planning that marketing budget today, so that it can give a customer or a prospect or a lead a confidence that this is the right company? What stops you from planning all of that in advance? You need to be having a vision far away, and that is what will require, right? So what you need to do is, you need to plan your decisions on your marketing budget accordingly once you see your customer lifetime value. And it is also very important the kind of customers to work for, and yes, the kind of customers to drop. As business owners, we feel all kinds of customers are good, but actually the bad customers stop us from expanding, and we are not able to concentrate on the new and the better customers. And this is one of the biggest challenges. And what you also need to see is, one transaction, maybe at one point of time, you may be losing some money, or you are doing work at par with the customer right now. But if you acquire them, you know you're going to work with them longer, right? Linda, I want to bring you in right now, and I want to ask you, you have been working with a lot of customers. Do you want to give some examples of how maybe in your business, one such case, or you actually took a decision about a customer based on this?
No, absolutely. I think it is a very relevant question. And I think as a business owner today, you have had that kind of situations, come across this kind of situations where you've been asking yourself this question: what should you be doing with the lead? Is it worth your time? Is it worth your money? So I'd like to connect to a very recent incident. Earlier in February this year, we were approached by a Singapore-based online company. And what they had on offer on the plate for us wasn't necessarily attractive. Looking at the numbers and the business itself, it was only 10 styles and 60 pieces per style, which is literally nothing, and it would drown among everything else, but at the same time, it would also distract us. But the way I have always looked at business and opportunities is to go to the bottom with who is the owner and investor behind the company. Is it a solid investor? And if they prove to have done something amazing and done a similar, very successful business and blown it up to large scale business, then that is absolutely something I would consider worthwhile doing, even if I would lose money to do it. And also the other way I look at it is, in this case, it was February, we were having COVID around us, and we understood that the contactless shopping would be really in demand for the next coming months, seeing how China had evolved with their draconian lockdown. So we know already from the experience of our European customers that the ones that have been doing really well of late are the online-based customers, and they keep on just giving repeat after repeat after repeat. So on the base of seeing this larger perspective, we decided to say yes to the business, and we somehow miraculously managed to ship these really small orders. And now the benefit of that is that they have already come back to us just a month ago, and they placed another 60 style with us, and the quantities are already between 100 to 200 pieces per style. That again is not a large business in itself, but it shows the growth potential that one specific small customer can have at one specific moment of time if you take all the circumstances into your calculation. So that's probably one of the best and most recent examples. And yeah, over to you again, Gaga.
Yes, thank you so much, Linda. This is so apt example that how you need to take a decision to work with a set of people and plan, think long term rather than looking at a short term approach on, no, this doesn't work with me and it is not giving me a customer. Look at the background, look at the things like what Linda mentioned, and it can actually give you good business. But on the other side, as I mentioned, you need to also see there are certain customers you should not work with. You know that they're going to drop they are price sensitive. They will work with you. Tomorrow they will go to somebody else for a price. You should be very careful because they drain you. And these are the people, if you keep working with them, it will not let you go over to those 5-year customers who come in and stick for 5 years. So you definitely need to look at that. Another thing, what you need to look at is actually from a gentleman called Jay Abraham. He's a famous marketing guru. And I would like to talk about some of the things which he said about customer lifetime value. I would like to talk about, he said, why will your customers buy from you more? Now, this is something which you need to look at. Why will your customers buy from you more? And why will your customers buy from you more often? Now, these are the two things which you need to look at. Maybe you are able to offer them some extra products which come just before or after your current line of business or current line. Maybe if you add those things, they will actually buy more from you, right? Can you actually give them a way that they can buy more quantities within the same kind of line? Or if you offer them these particular lines or some other kind of extra services or a extra product line, they could actually come back to you more often because they need that product or a service more often than just one line you were selling. So you need to constantly innovate in your business, see what extra service, what just before your current product line or just after your product line you can offer, so that for a customer, it becomes one-stop shop. And that with what makes it such a difference. Think about the things which you can add to your line or offering, due to which the customers comes to you more and more and more often. That is what Jay Abraham said. And it is actually this way you can actually build your business exponentially when you start developing certain things, always constantly innovating when it comes to your customers. It makes a very big difference. Let's now talk about improving the customer lifetime value. We spoke about how do we really work on customer lifetime value? How do we really understand and take decisions based for acquiring customers? Let's see how do we improve our customer lifetime value. We need to see that your client retention and the satisfaction has to be your topmost priority. Because when we've seen, if your attrition rate of your customers, the way at the speed they leave you reduces, and the number of customers you are acquiring keeps at the same pace, suddenly you start seeing an exponential growth because your current customers are not leaving you because of an exceptional service or the top of the line satisfaction you are giving it to them, and your new customers still keep coming in. You start seeing an exponential growth. That is what it is. Working on customer satisfaction through all contact points in your team is very, very important. And you working with better customers for a long period of time actually will give you a better lifetime value. Understand this, working with better customers for a long period of time. Just get away with the customers who you think are draining you out, right? And this way, they will come to you more often if you do these things right. So what I'm saying is, towards the end, how it all helps, how the customer lifetime value helps. Your regular interaction makes or helps them grow more confidence. If you show the right vision to them, if you create constant value for them, if you showcase professional attitude and a great culture, and if you help them interact with a great team. All what I'm trying to say is you will have better customers. They will be able to better work with you if you show them the right vision, you show them the constant value, create value, let your team plan and have a great customer satisfaction. All what I'm trying to say is that in the end, it is all connected. Every single thing which we spoke today is a spoke of a wheel. The way if every single piece is actually dealt carefully, it can give you an exceptional customer experience. And there is no reason why your customers are not going to stick with you forever. And I really mean it, forever, right? All what we are saying is that small daily improvements over time does lead to stunning results. That's what Robin Sharma said. And with this, I would like to thank you all for being here. And of course, we are opening it for question and answers now. But I would like to thank right now, first of all, Sonil for helping us organize this. And I would like to thank Madhu and Linda. It has been great planning this session. And thank you so much for such valuable inputs which you gave during the presentation. So I would now hand it over to Sonil for your comments and for some question and answers.
Wow, guys, it's been one of the best sessions we had in the current times, and I would say after so much of anxiety going around with the current things happening in our ecosystem and so much of disruption around, I would say one critical area, I would say if a business is kind of being taken for, if the confidence of the customers is there in your business, that is one single angle which helps you to ride through any kind of rough weather, I would say. And the way you guys have articulated the entire session and the way you have put it and made it so easy for all the people and the people who are there in the room today with us, I say hats off to all three of you. You put in a lot of energy, a lot of effort in putting up this great session. So let us just take some quick questions from people who have posed here. So there was a first question which came in very towards the beginning of the session from an anonymous attendee. How to gain old clients who were not so happy with some of our services and they have stopped dealing with us. So would you like to guys take it up? I'm sure you have answered some of the amazing ways, but in case you were to summarize this in a single or in a very quick words, how would you do it? Gagan, would you like to,
Would you like to talk about it, Linda? I can answer that always.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. You are happy, so you decide.
Okay. I can talk about that first. I can give my comments as somebody who's in marketing, and then you can talk about as a buyer. First of all, you've actually mentioned, and I think the second question also just correlates with the same, that you haven't been able to provide the right kind of service to them, or you have what you promised, you could not deliver it to them, and now they're not working with you. So how do we really gain them? First of all, you answered your question in the right, because you were not really providing the service and they did not feel confident dealing with you. There is a very big reason why that customer doesn't come back to you, because they lost that confidence. They gave that faith, they brought in that confidence in you with which they work with you. And these are some of the challenges which today we have been talking about why people decide, why the customers leave you, right? It is the bad service. Having said this, I would still answer one question. I will still answer some part of it, and it is all about salvaging. Now, the point is a question, a customer gone, you have done years of difference. After some time, if you are able to show a significant difference in what you did earlier and how you have progressed and how you have changed and some of the problems which they face, how you have overcome to them, there is, I would say, a minute chance that the customer would work with you again, right? And I'm saying a minute chance because a customer once goes because of a bad service, they come very, very with a great difficulty. So you have to do a big job when it comes to really gaining that confidence again. And you have to show a big spectrum change in what you were and what you will, what you are now, right? This is one thing what I think that you need to do. Linda, what's your comment on that?
Well, first of all, I would love to mirror the answer to your to the question, because I think you are so right when you say that there is a chance, if you really progress and you can prove that there is a different version of yourself and the team now as compared to the past. But that's still not very easy. I would also like to remind everyone of the importance of always staying humble, because we have seen situations, it has happened to us, I think it has happened to all of us. We have seen situations where we have gone against the odds to actually getting a customer back, and the customer, we have had meetings, we have traveled there, and the customer has actually already before the meeting made up their mind about that, no, we will not work because of such and such reason. But because of the humble approach that we have had in the meeting, where we have come with a list of our shortcomings, saying that we admit and we are aware that this is what we were, and also this is how we have addressed each and every point, and this is what it will be if you by any chance would give us a chance again. That has actually proven to be successful. So we've been able to regain the customer coming back to us. But it's all about being humble, and it's all about admitting where did you go wrong and repair and mend thoroughly, not just like a flaky surface, cosmetic kind of change, but you really have to work on shaping it up and be solid again. And then I can only wish best of luck, because I think you also in this context need a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
There is another question from another anonymous attendee. How to have a healthy relationship with your customers if we are not able to deliver what we promised and we are losing the trust from them?
So Sonil, I think as I mentioned that this is the question which we co-answered. So we brought in both the questions because they had a similar thought process around.
Yeah.
Answered these two questions. You can probably go on to the next one. Yeah.
So there is a question from Mr. Sudhir Grover to all the panelists in terms of what we can make in terms of local brands global. Government is pushing industries to go local manufacturing in India, and what is the right way to ensure that the Indian brands can get recognized as a global brands, and what needs to be done here?
Wow, that's a big question. And as expected, Mr. Sudhirji. So I probably wouldn't be the right person to answer, to be honest.
Okay, so I can talk about it briefly, Sudhir. A lot what we mentioned today in our program, in the past 1.5 hours, 1 hour, is actually some of the answers you're going to find into that particular thought process, because there are certain reasons why some of us remain at where we are and we are not able to really showcase ourselves as a global brand. And these are all the places, these are all the factors, when we spoke about, when it comes to your culture, when it comes to showcasing the real value, when it comes to the right kind of marketing or building that confidence in your prospects or your leads, that gives a person a confidence that you're going to deliver every time you say that. There has to be a behavioral shift which we need to do. Like what Linda said, if a time delivered, then it has to be like that. If you cannot do it, be open and say no. Yes, I cannot do it, and it's absolutely okay to do that. These are some minute factors, but the list is longer. And what I would say is some of the people, some of the business owners have understood this particular factor. And I tell you, I come across a lot of these people. They are doing well at the global as a global arena. But yes, I would say if I need to compare all of this to the entire market, these set of people are still about 5 to 10% of the entire set of business owners who aspire to go abroad. So a bigger, very big shift is required when it comes to these people. And I would say some of these tips today, what we gave, will definitely help them. If you know of some people, let them see the recording of this. You will notice that we may be able to bring some change in some of them.
I can add something to what Gagan has said to this answer to this question. I hope you all can hear me.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, okay. What I see, when you want to develop a brand into the domestic market initially and then go on for the international market, the first mistake, and the first thing, of course, is what Gagan said, you have to go through the whole presentation and you have to work towards it. The first mistake that we make when we go and promote a brand domestically is we start thinking, oh, we can do whatever. It's a different way to do in marketing in domestic and internationally. No, the systems are the same. You have to market it in a similar fashion. You have to do the similar steps. You have to be develop your product as if you're developing it for the global market. And because the domestic market is also pretty aware, the only thing you need to be understanding is the price points in the domestic market and in the international market. Because see, I can give you an example. Though I did not pursue it after 2 seasons, I did have my own brand of footwear. It did, and I did not do, because I did not know too much about the domestic market. I just worked on it as if it was an international brand, and then it works. It definitely works if you look at it in an international scenario, not as just isolated that you're going to do it in the domestic brand. Once you've done that step, then to go internationally is not that difficult.
Sensible.
Add up to this one fact, and I would say to summarize the entire conversation on getting the brands global, it is, I would say, the commitment of the founders and the owners which brings it to the table. And somewhere, if in the first few questions that were posed out, I could also see myself, or maybe all the panelists at some part of life or at some part of their business professional career. We have all gone through a stage wherein we have fallen out. We were not able to live up to the commitments. But it is very important that we should realize it, and the sooner we do it and the better we do it. Go out and talk out to this company, to talk out to your customers, talk to your teams first. I would say, if there is things which have gone wrong, and you should find out ways to correct those things. The world is changing dramatically, and I would say, the kind of things which are happening is you can't actually predict the future at this juncture of times. Yes, having customers and having a loyal customers whom you have been servicing over the years, and you stand by your faults, you openly face them, and you just go back to them and say, yes, there is something which we can correct it, or there are things which you have corrected in your businesses, and you can tell them these are the correct things which we have corrected, and now that we are ready to face up these kind of challenges in the current times. That is just building that confidence back. And in our kind of business model, where we started as a small company about 2-3 years back, and where we are right now, it took us a lot of time to correct and find our own niche also. Where what we were doing, how we serving the customers. And I could see a lot of points which you guys have just shared out in today's session. A lot of it could be relatable to us also. And I would very openly say that we have come in a long way, and we have traveled, and we have corrected a lot of things, and we'll continue to evolve ourselves and do a better job for our customers. Thank you so much, guys. There is one small question which has been posed by Ashwini Arora. And it's not a small, but he's just taken up a very key thing. What is the biggest cause of eroding customers' trust? So do you think any one of you can answer it? Though I have answered it briefly, but...
Gagan, why don't you start it?
What I can say is, today also we spoke about a lot of questions, and I would say, apart from Ashwini, Sakshi has put up a question in the question and answer section, which says how to gain trust to bring new buyers aboard. I would say, if we were to answer things related to trust, some of these answers, both of your answers probably can be given in one way or the other. We spoke about today that how it is important that you need to give enough confidence to the people, to your customers, that it will be great to work with you, right? Your passion to work, you're able to showcase that your company is the best to work with. You're able to showcase them your facilities, You know that you're going to show them ethical work practices with regards to sustainability. You give them that kind of a confidence, and they slowly and slowly gain more trust. But in case you fail to do that, you're not able to put up a great brand forward. Your branding and your website and your profile, what you're sending is average. You're sending a Word file as your profile. These are the things an international buyer doesn't want to see. They need to actually see, as we've been talking about, the branding builds more and more confidence in a person. And then after that, at each one of these steps, how you deal with them when it comes to showcasing your infrastructure, when it comes to showcasing your products in the right possible manner, right? And if you have a good presence of the social media, and how are you conversing at the social media, all of these things slowly and slowly help you build that kind of a trust. And just to answer another question, which actually says there's any special tip for the startup company, what Sakshi said, let me tell you, Sakshi, I heard sometime back, and it is actually true. In India, we unfortunately start at -10 when it comes to the trust or comes to the efficiencies in working. Unfortunately, that is the scenario which is there. So we are already starting at negative. Even if you are the best, even if you as a startup are passionate about doing the best, I have had dealt with international customers. I've had the best of resources, the best of things which I was producing, but I always started at a negative because they had some image about how India did things. And what we intend to do, and with this session today and with a lot of other sessions which we all are doing in our own spheres, our idea is to change the way you think, and to change and make that change. And slowly we are sure that if everybody starts changing, and Sudhir mentioned one question, when will it happen in the next 10 years or so? I would say the things will take time. It is not going to happen in the next 3 years, 5 years. But yes, if slowly and slowly some people start changing, eventually people will start doing the difference. My first aim would be, if all of us start at the level 0 and not on a negative side of doing business with an international buyer, we would have done our job, right? Many countries actually start at much more positive thought process. So think about it and plan it like that. I'm sure a lot of these factors will help you build that kind of a trust.
And I would just like to conclude this conversation to one single thing. It is just the mindset. And once we start talking about it and keep engaging about it, it is just a culture which will start developing within your mind, first of all, and then it will disseminate to your organizations. And I would say that is one area where you can say whether it is 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years. If that change starts happening in your mind, you can start seeing the results very often, and very soon you can see that. Sorry, Linda, I just cut you in.
No worries at all. Just to add to Ashwani's question there, I believe that very often when you have a trust issue with the customer, it's not necessarily how you as an individual has dealt with the customer, but very often how the team has handled the customer and perhaps not kept the same expected standard. And again, I think it comes down to always train your team in such a way that they become a mirror of your actions, and in the way they speak to the customers, reply to emails and everything. Until and unless you get that under control, I think you will always be under the threat of having trust issues. So it's very, very important to align the whole team. You cannot do everything yourself. You should not do everything yourself, but make sure that the team is equipped with the right thought process to be able to walk the talk on your behalf. That's what I would like to add.
Yeah, I know what Linda said is right, because we have a history where the Indian industries haven't performed well. So that is why, even if you've not done anything wrong, even if you have all the plus points into it, you still cannot get away the negatives out of it. So it is, the more you bring in your value addition, the more you bring your brand forward, the more you showcase your teams and your workings. That is where you will get it. Because I know so many years back in 1993, I left a flourishing business to start because of the Indian image. I do see a remarkable difference, but yes, there is still a long way to go off, because we have to fight not our own history, but our industry's history and the mindset of the buyers against the Indian product. Because for them, India means quality issues. India means not delivering on time and blah, blah, blah. So there's a long list of things that you have, which is what you have to fight against.
So at this point of time, I would like to bring in a small video of the new changes that we have brought into our sourcing tool. I know, Gagan, you have to call off, so you can leave it out. And I would like to just share this, a short video to all the participants over here.
Thank you so much. While our team stays, I have another session which I need to log into. But thank you so much. Before I leave, I would like to thank both my partners in this particular session. We loved planning this session and wonderfully delivered. And thank you again, Sonal. You have had a great community, and the way you have a vision about helping people, and this is really, really doing great to the people who are listening to it. Please carry on your conversation. I will log off. And we'll see you all very, very soon.
Thank you,
Gagan.
Thank you so much, Gagan.
Always a pleasure.
So guys, I'm just sharing a quick tool that we have further improvised in our journey of last few days during the lockdown. And this tool is just for the industry, the fashion and textile industry, just sharing the essence of how this can be more useful for you going forward. So here I'll just take a moment to explain what we have done, the refinements in our sourcing model, wherein what we have done is through our Sodex platform, people had the easy access of going out and sourcing for their fashion and textile requirements. The tool is very, very simple when it comes to the UI UX. Simply through the Sodex app, you can just fill up a form with all your specification and detailing, and just press the button and it goes out to all the vendors in that particular category and subcategory with all the detailed specification. In terms of improvisation is this tool actually connects you to thousands of users across India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and China. So getting your prices, getting your delivery, and getting your first quotes becomes really, really easy. And what further improvement we've done is we have also connected this with your existing vendors and to the new vendors. So for example, if you are a manufacturer, you're looking out to source a woven fabric, have your existing vendors that you would like to reach out, you can just go out to mention the details of your vendors, and the tool will actually connect you to the vendors and their to the app. So basically how it does it, we give them the access login and we link them to your account. So it simply gives you the access that whenever you want to share and get the information, you get the information from your own vendors. You have the option of choosing the new vendors, or you have the option of sourcing from both the vendors. So how it helps you is, it gives you an access within your phone that wherever the people are sending the reverts on the prices and the delivery, it comes directly to your dashboard on your mobile app dashboard. Simply the other side, The vendors can see the access to these emails or to the notifications that this is something which has been shared by you, and immediately they can open it up and they can reply to you. So this tool has helped a lot of our, we have already done the pilot runs for this particular tool. And we said, we have seen almost like 50 to 60% higher engagements between the new vendors as well as the old vendors, where they used to, end up, the teams were, doing a lot of follow-ups with them. Now this tool has actually helped them to get the information much more in a faster and accurate manner. Buyers, manufacturers, and suppliers all can use this. The entire ecosystem can get connected to it. So those kind of features we've already inbuilt to this particular tool itself. You have a comparison sheet which can be downloaded simply from your app also, as well as on your website also. So on a single note, what we have done is there are 4 tools, basically mainly on the sourcing side. You can source a new design, you can source the new stocks, you can look out for the capacities on the same tool, and you can even understand what kind of new changes and new informations or new updates which are coming out in the industry. Lastly, we have just made this entire experience much more effective for both the buyers and suppliers, where we have got into a recognition program for every single user. We've introduced a 3-tier recognition area, wherein every supplier who gets business from the platform, the buyers can give them testimonials. If the buyers, if a supplier is able to secure 3 testimonials, he's been given a silver verified badge. If he gets 8 testimonials, he gets the gold badge. If he gets 15 testimonials, he gets a platinum badge. So irrespective of the fact that what kind of tier membership that they are having, the recognition program comes directly from the fact that if there is a successful completion of an order from a supplier to a buyer gives that testimony, that's how you get the recognition. So it brings a lot of credibility for the suppliers in the system, as well as to the fact that in case if there is a buyers that you would like to give a testimony in terms of the successful pricing and no issues which are coming, normally except for their payments, there are not much issues coming from the buyers. So you can also give the testimonials towards your buyer, and that builds in the recognition for the buyers also. Just a 3-tier program. Website, anybody who wants to see, you can just reach out to Sotex team. These are the numbers which we have as part of the customer care in North, South, or you can write to us on info@sotex.com. You can download the Sotex app from the Google Play Store or the Google from the Apple App Store. We are also there on the social media, so you can see a lot of information which is happening around in terms of the inquiries, engagements, our webinars, our engagement with the experts, our knowledge sessions. So a lot of those activities, you can follow it up. You can follow us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, and any of the social media handles. Lastly, I would like to say a special word of thanks, which I forgot in the starting of the session. Now, we have had some very positive, support coming from one cluster, especially Gagan cluster, which is down in Jaipur, and in particular in Rajasthan. So we have a cluster of 350 people. They keep regularly supporting us for all our digital initiatives. I would really like to thank their leadership team, the new leadership team, which has taken on board in helping us, supporting us. Apart from this, we have another company which has been supporting us right through the lockdown in the last 7 months for this webinar series, that is DTEX Mask. They are into manufacturing disposable as well as reusable masks. They are certified masks from Eurofin and local DRDO, which is the Indian government highest accreditation in the Indian government bodies. So please reach out to them. Their information will be shared to you as a part of the feedback form, which we'll be taking up in this post session. So let me see in case if we have any other questions which we are left out with. So Mr. Sudhir Grover has put in a last question wherein, Gagan, do you feel a different marketing strategy is needed for Indian and international market as of today's situation? I would say Linda, would you like to say anything? Would you like to comment here?
Sure. I do believe that a different marketing policy is in, or strategy is needed. And it's not only when you're doing international business today, but it's really looking at how 2020 has turned around the tables in terms of any kind of business. So I think the most important right now is to literally sit down and vet what is it that we need to do in order to move forward, and be clear in your vision. Be clear here. It's very simple the way I see it. If you're clear here, if you reason with yourself, if you analyze, if you do fact finding about what is happening, if you have open dialogues with your customers, then on the basis of all the information that you do receive, you can process it internally at team level and then move in a far more apt direction. So for sure, a different marketing approach is necessary. And I think India in general can step up the websites, the way they look normal, because they are not very informative at all. So when I'm a foreign buyer and I want to see different companies in India, very often I get so little information, or the websites are so out of date that I'm not even bothered to actually take the next step as a buyer. So I think that's one important aspect. And of course, never to underestimate the social media importance today. So absolutely, yes.
Madhu, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I agree to what Linda said, but would also like to, add on to it is because, see, I know there has to be different strategies, but the crux, the main according to me, has to be the same. You have to see the market internationally, everywhere it's e-commerce. So you got to target similarly what you would be targeting there. The only difference will not be in your strategy as far as feel, but in the product line, the way the product is structured, engineered, that is where the difference is. But market is the same. And I think now with certain bigger groups coming in, okay, this post-COVID and and the COVID times, the buying is less, but the basic structure of buying slowly and steadily is definitely changing. It's going into like multiple outlet stores and e-commerce still on top. So either you have your own good e-commerce site or you go to different e-commerce. So your marketing strategies, according to my experience, has been that basically you should be working as an international player to get the business. And secondly, it is very paramount that whatever product you're going to market, first you must see the market area where you are going to target it. Your target audience is very, very important for you to structure. Just because my product is selling on such and such media, it's not necessarily yours would. So if you've done a thorough research of it, you will target your audience accordingly, and then you would gain on it.
I totally agree with both of you. And just to, conclude on this particular point that irrespective of what market you do it, I would say you have to be very, very careful. And every market demands a different kind of, expectations. So at both the ends, whether it is international buyers, and within the international buyers, there are different geographies, and every customer in that particular geography reacts and expects a different kind of service levels. So one has to be very, very particular when it comes to servicing the customers, whether within the domestic market or to the international market. And you should also be very sensitive to the fact that how these particular markets are particularly reacting to the culture. And as Indian, we do understand that this has been a slightly a weak area for us. But yes, as I really said, we are all learning and we're all part of the same curve. So, but as we understand that we have been evolving, and from where we were about a couple of years ago, and to the fact that digitizing, making waves in business at this point of time, the sooner your business becomes digitized, the sooner you are able to update your details on your websites or to the digital medium platforms, the more information is going out to the world at large. And now in the current span of time, you cannot just think local. You cannot just think local. You have to always think in the fact that now you're operating in a open digital world where everyone from every single corner of the world can see you, can imagine you, can see what your company stands for, what kind of products and services you're doing. It's a lot of things have to be done in that particular area. Please make sure you or your teams are digitally very active and updating your details on all the digital or social media platforms. With this, I would say that's the final conclusion from me. Anything else, Linda or Madhu? Would you like to do any final concluding words here?
No, I think we touched base on pretty much everything. We had our presentation and all the different steps. I'm happy with what we shared. I hope you're too. And thank you very much to the amazing audience that has stayed with us until now. It really means a lot, and we hope you found value in it. And yes, that's about it. I think to keep a positive mindset and to be focused on positivity right now when the world is again going a little bit negative and there is a lot of disruption is the most important. There are many elements that we cannot control at the moment, but we can also look at what we can do rather than what we cannot do. I personally believe that India stands very good opportunities in terms of getting business as long as we can deliver. And right now, everyone is talking about trends that are favorable for India in SS21. And everyone is talking about authentic products, crafted products, etc. And thanks to the customer that has been made much more aware of how product is actually being produced. So there is a lot of more transparency that I think can work to India's advantage as long as we have everything clear on our side. The future is bright the way I see it. We just need to get over this hump.
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely.
The future is very bright, and we got to be very optimistic about it, improve our systems as vis-a-vis our presentations, get your mission and vision to be on focus, and then you sure are going to make it. And also keep an eye on how the market is progressing internationally and align yourself to that and achieve it. And you sure would do it, because if your vision is right, the mission will be right. And when the mission is right, your value systems would be right, and you definitely would achieve it. And you will get what the international market is offering, even though there's a lot of dramatic changes happening, but you can still catch it.
It's gonna be good in the end.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you once again, Linda and Madhu, for coming and sharing such insightful session today. I absolutely loved it, and I'm sure everyone in the room who were there, they also would have found the session to be very informative. We look forward to having such sessions, and I would like to thank all the people who have actively participated, Mr. Sudhir Grover, then Neha, we have Ashwini, Sakshi Batra, Ashwini Arora, all the members who have actively participated, engaged, given their thoughts. Thank you so much for giving this valuable time, and your kind of engagements just helps us to be more inspired and gets you more of these kind of sessions from the industry experts like you just experienced all three of them today. So thank you so much for being in today's session, and we kind of overstretched, but I found the session to be way too informative and interesting, so I did not interject it in this particular area. Thank you once again to all the people for coming and participating in today's session, and we look forward to having you once again in the future. Thank you. Stay tuned.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Very happy Diwali to all the viewers and listeners here. So we look forward to seeing you post Diwali now.
Yeah. Happy Diwali, everyone. Enjoy. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.